Today, we're going to explore a really powerful idea. What if finding peace isn't about, adding something new to your life? What if it's about letting go, about emptying your mind?
But first, let me ask you something. Does your mind ever feel like a storm? Just a total whirlwind of thoughts and worries and maybe some regrets that just will not quiet down? If that sounds familiar, well, you are definitely not alone. So let's dive into this feeling. We're calling this first part, the mind is a storm. Because honestly, that's exactly what it feels like, right? A restless, chaotic place. And the best way to understand it is through a little story. I want you to meet a young man named Marco. Now, his mind was the perfect picture of this storm. He was dealing with the whole shebang. Thoughts that never stopped, always feeling tired and just uneasy. He was constantly sad about things that happened in the past and totally worried about what was coming in the future. He couldn't feel calm, couldn't sleep, and he'd pretty much forgotten how to even smile. That was just his reality, day in and day out. Finally, feeling completely lost, Marco just decided, I can't live like this anymore. And that's where his quest for peace begins. A journey to finally find a solution to that storm inside his head. So Marco starts hearing these whispers about a wise old man. Turns out he was a former psychologist who now lived this simple, quiet life up in the hills, and he had a reputation for helping people find peace. With just a little glimmer of hope, Marco set off on a long, really tiring journey, thinking maybe, just maybe, this man had the answer he so desperately needed. And when Marco finally gets there, the wise man doesn't give him some big lecture. Nope. Instead, he gives him a test, a really strange test that involved nothing more than a simple glass of water. Okay, so here's the task. The wise man takes a glass of water and fills it right to the absolute brim. I mean, so full that even the slightest little shake would make it spill over. Marco's mission? He had to carry that glass all the way to the edge of the village and back, without spilling a single drop. And of course, he accepted the challenge. So as Marco starts his walk, the village is just buzzing with distractions. The road's narrow, it's busy, you've got shopkeepers yelling out, trying to get people's attention. This was the first test of his focus. And the noise just kept coming. Now there are dogs barking, people are running right past him. The whole environment felt like it was basically designed to pull his attention away from that glass. But here's the amazing part. Marco didn't look around, he didn't really hear any of the noise. His eyes, his mind, his entire being was just locked on to that glass of water. He walked slowly, so carefully, just one step at a time. And he did it. He gets back to the wise man. His voice is just filled with pride and relief, and he says, "Grandfather, I did it. I didn't spill even one drop of water." He's feeling great. But the real lesson, well, that was just beginning. And this is it. This is the secret, the big aha moment of the whole story. The wise man was just about to reveal why that simple task was so incredibly important. The wise man just smiles at him and asks, "So, did you see the children playing on the side of the road? Did you happen to hear the dogs barking?" And Marco was totally surprised. He hadn't noticed any of it. He's like, "No, I didn't see or hear anything. I was only focusing on the glass." And right there, that's the core lesson. The wise man explains, that is the secret. When your mind stays in the present moment, there is literally no space for fear, no room for confusion, and no extra thoughts. See, while Marco was focused only on that water, his mind became completely quiet. He wasn't sad about his past, he wasn't afraid of his future, he was just present. It really shows you the difference, doesn't it? On one side, you have the stormy mind. It's full of past regrets and future fears, and that leads to, well, zero peace. But on the other side, you have the present mind that Marco discovered. Full focus, no distractions, and the results? Inner peace. It was right there inside him the whole time. So Marco's story is amazing for showing us how to quiet all those future worries just by focusing on right now. But what about the regrets? What about the past? Well, there's another great little story that builds on this, and it's all about the baggage we carry. It's called Putting Down the Stone. So just imagine a woman who's burdened by past mistakes, and she's asked to carry this heavy stone. At first, it's not so bad, but the longer she holds onto it, the more her hand starts to ache and the heavier that stone feels. The lesson here is so simple, but so powerful. Holding on to the past is just like carrying that heavy stone. All it does is create pain you don't need to feel. The only real solution is to learn to put the stone down. So, after hearing these two stories, the question kind of turns back to us, right? It's time to apply the lesson. What's your burden? And what is your glass of water? And here's the ultimate takeaway from all this. Peace isn't some destination you have to travel to. It's not something you're going to find in some quiet village or from some wise old man. It is already inside you, right now, just waiting for you to uncover it the moment you decide to fully live in the present. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. Marco learned how to find his focus. The woman in the story learned how to put down her stone. So the question for you is, are you ready to empty your mind?